the hell is that? Him?
He's a loyal customer.
Who the hell are you? I'll give you a gift. The anus is on you to take care of it. Not just give it away to any old face happens along. Anus? Yeah. You speak English, don't you? Face? Yo, that's the second time you said that. Ain't gonna be no third.
Alright, 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 alright. Alright, 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 alright. I never listen, I'm gonna listen. I wanna listen to the drums.
Jake, it is Free Video Friday. This
Oh,
is
is
a
it?
free video.
Oh, this whole thing?
Oh,
You waited to turn that on.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was just in my bag.
You put it there.
What do you
Now-
put? What?
Despite the fact that we visited a studio yesterday,
See, now I'm self-conscious about how we look.
You
We
guys
don't
look like dog
Yeah,
shit.
we don't look
not
good
in a
at all.
studio.
Let me
When
turn
you
this
sign on to
brightness up.
StreamYard, it says, remember, good lighting will make you look better.
God, I gotta stare at this bright computer all day.
You guys know I look great right now.
This sucks.
I mean, at least Dan has bits.
Yeah, I got an Argyle shirt.
No
Big
jeans,
game
though.
tonight.
No jeans.
Got a game tonight.
Gonna get back on track.
We're on track.
Oh, yeah?
We're doing okay.
We'll see about that.
Anyway, we are recording this on something called Live to Tape on StreamYard, and then we will put it out on YouTube. And we do want to remind people, if you are watching this on YouTube, patreon.com/thedumbzone. Is it on the YouTube? If I say click here, where will it be, Blake? Will it be here?
That's actually a really good guess.
Probably down here.
No,
I
because
think
it'll.
it's up here.
Yeah, I think it's right where Dan's pointing.
Right up here.
I'm going to go right here. I'm going
Okay.
to caress it.
That way.
That way.
That way.
I'm going to stroke it. Oh, I'll stroke it. Oh, yeah, I'll stroke it. Now here, just for this moment, Blake, let's fire up the names beneath our, because I want to just let everybody know. So we are on video. A lot of people will be just listening to this on audio. Can we put it, we can just plop it on the Patreon on a video too. Yes or no?
I think so.
Yeah, but it's a YouTube video that we're going to try and do. We were doing it once a week previously, and that is our goal. A free once a week YouTube. And that's why I want you to go up here to click away. And then you could, find
We're so
our other thing.
lame.
I know this sucks.
You're lame. You don't have a light.
I don't like promoting stuff. But I do want to introduce, in case you start to feel down, in case you start to feel up against it
It
today,
happens.
in case you feel like, man, I don't know if I can get through the rest of the show.
Mm-hmm.
This is a difficult day. Here's some motivation for you right here. We will give you Baker candy.
How you feeling now, Blake?
That's the Baker
A little
Mayfield
better.
Fathead
Yeah,
sent to us
that's-
by a
It works.
great patron, a person, a human. Mailed it to actual mail. I get actual mail here every week.
How else would they have got it to you? Email
Well, he
back?
could bring it.
Carrier pigeons.
So I
dropped it
actually
off.
got. It's obviously Kimono Friday,
Sure.
Kimono Dragon Friday here in the Dragon Den.
Pizza Friday.
High atop my garage is where we broadcast from. Somebody sent me their. What Pro Bowl was it that you heard about?
I think it was after the 92 season. It was the 93, January
Oh, dear.
93.
Oh dear.
Yeah, the wrong one.
Wrong.
So someone named Craig from Dallas mailed me this snail mail, and he didn't put a note in there. But my wife walked in the other day with this box, and she says, "Who is Uncle Hotmail?"
Babe, you know.
Because it is addressed to Uncle Hotmail.
Awesome.
And I didn't realize when I opened it, I just thought, "Oh, this is interesting that he would give this to us." But now I'm realizing what the deal is. That is from the 1993 Pro Bowl, an actual patch. Apparently, this is all the vital statistics.
Whoa.
to the Pro Bowl and people's stats and
Got
just
the box score.
That's pretty sweet.
It says everything in there except the one thing you remember.
Yeah.
That your dad or explain. Tell the people at home.
Well, my dad wasn't there when this went down. I actually think he was golfing. I could be remembering that part incorrectly.
January golf.
That's Texas, late January. But I was at my aunt's house, my mom's sister, with my brother. I was 7, almost 7.5. And my mom came to pick us up. And the way I remember it, and I'm sure she has a different memory of it, and on this specific thing, maybe hers is more accurate, but that was the day during the Pro Bowl, which I was extremely locked into because the Cowboys had, half the NFC roster, that my mom told us that my dad was moving out. I don't recall her using the word divorce. That sort of...
So we woke up that morning, Dad was there. And
I believe so, yeah.
And that evening...
Yeah.
Dad's got a couple of strippers. And
I don't know what he had going on. He quickly had an apartment. I think he stayed with my grandparents for a while. That's probably pretty common, right? If your parents are local, fall in hard times, go stay with them for a little while. That's the way I remember it anyways. But yeah, I was like, I don't care. Jay Novacek is still in the game. Like Troy's throwing lasers over here. Because back in my day,
yeah,
it wasn't just a participation trophy, The Pro Bowl was something to be proud of. And to get to see your helmets out there. They were coming off a Super Bowl, It
was a better day when you wore your own helmet.
It was awesome. The other...
Do they no longer wear their own helmet?
Their jerseys are all messed up now.
Well, I mean, they don't even really do it now. It's flag football, which is a man's game.
Which is
Should I show my thing on the thing?
You should.
Yeah, okay. This is for all you sick.
I don't want to see that. So we're on video.
It's gotten
for
a lot
those
better.
listening, Jake is going to show his...
It doesn't look that bad on camera now.
Yeah.
His
flesh
better. Wound.
Yeah, it's not that bad anymore. If these dumb, rich suburbs would stop putting in real turf and just throw me some grass. First of all, I'm at least 1/10 of a second faster. Everyone knows that.
Sure.
Hey, you guys want to do me a quick favor before we get to Blake's story from College Station / Brian? I want both of you. This was a hot topic on the internet yesterday. I think it might have been sent to the group chat, and we all had the same, oh my God, reaction. I want you to pull up a new browser window. Do you know what this is already, Blake?
No, but I'm excited. Private?
No, you'll be fine. You don't have to click on the link that comes up. You ready, Dan?
I didn't know if you're going to show us the Selena Gomez video or not.
What's that? Is there the tape?
That's a private video.
There's a tape?
Or a private tab. Not a tape.
Okay, we'll talk later. Just simply Google space movie released in 1992. I'll give you guys a minute.
No. This top hit that's already showing up. Nope. You're not going to put that on me.
You want me to screen save it? Or put it on the...
No. I don't, no.
Oh, screen share?
This is just a very popular thing. Yeah, I don't know, but I read all about it.
All right, we'll let people at home do that as well.
Play along.
Or in your car.
Play along at home. It's appears to be like a Dutch movie.
The Dutch, are they the ones that also did Human Centipede?
It sounds right.
I knew it was some foreign guy.
They're an odd folk.
So, Blake, you weren't with us yesterday or the day
Nobody
before.
wants to read it?
No.
Okay.
Blake, you weren't with us yesterday or the day before. And I got to tell you, felt good yesterday without Blake, actually. We had
I know that's
big
not
name
true.
guests. We had
I heard about you complain.
KG, Kyle Gibson. Well, I just did that
Oh, for show?
for the people. I like people to think that I'm a nice guy.
Yeah.
But great guest, VJ Boyd. It was really cool to. I think I said it to him when we hung up. It was cool to talk to him for not like a 12-minute segment. It just kind of
This is the adult tour,
and I hope it was like cool to listen to. Maybe it wasn't.
VJ was very good.
Maybe it sucked.
And we can say whatever the hell we want.
That's right.
Yeah,
For as long as we want, frankly.
But you were gone.
Like cum shot?
Whoa.
Why didn't you beep that?
I think you should beep it for YouTube.
Nah, you're fine.
So many rules.
We're on
That's
YouTube now.
fine. You'll be fine on that.
Oh, listen to
Or
Tough
horse
Guy.
car.
Oh, here's Tough Guy.
That's-
Effing Queen. Oh, beep that. No. I know a guy who's...
Dude, the only shut up. The only reason that some stuff is beeped and some stuff isn't. Well, in the case of, because this has been a hot topic in the comments. In the case of Third Leg Greg, Blake and I decided that it's funnier beeped.
It is funnier beat.
And I completely agree with that. Like that's one that we actually have clean and edited.
You don't think C-Shot is funny?
It kind of is,
I mean,
but
yeah, it's funny
Third
to
Leg
hear.
Greg,
Like
it's just
cum shot.
That's funny, yeah.
It's the rapid fire beeps. Inner
Inner beep, yes.
inner beep, inner beep, on her beep. That's funny to me.
Well, I'm glad just you can decide what's beepable and not. And
Well, it's 2 against 1.
This is
you
so
guys-
exhausting.
Oh, that's how it goes.
Even if you could have
Okay.
mounted, he's 33% of the show, remember? That's what people are saying.
Yeah.
People are not saying that.
Everyone's saying.
All right, you were gone. Where were you? You know what? I don't even care. So
Okay.
I wanted to follow up on something yesterday. Good emailer.
I do want to show you one thing, though.
I'm going to throw it back to you. Quit whining like a
I'm
little
just-
bitch.
I'm just putting it out there.
You know, I thought we were going to have fun today. We got pizza. We
I'm
had
having a
little
great time.
Fratelli. I'm wearing a kimono.
I got
I'm hot as
lights.
balls. I
Got
don't know.
Baker
This
cam.
thing makes you so hot. You know what? Hold on.
Yeah, we
Let's
need him.
just calm down. You could pull it up for me if I need it. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Yeah.
Put the names.
I feel I'm having fun. So get to your little story, Dan. Your little email.
All right. Well, it's just that. Remember, I just wanted to follow up on yesterday. I said, Rob Schindler. It was his birthday, and his wife emailed and said, "Oh, please play his Dumb Zone viewer mail theme because you don't play it anymore," and he's upset about it.
And she even said, I know it sucks, but he's upset about it.
So here's the Dumb Zone viewer mail theme that we don't play.
Okay.
Dan and Jake. Jake and Dan. They get letters from their biggest fans. Their little podcast will prevail. And now it's time for viewer mail.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. It's just a little too cheer. Like, Dan and Jake. Jake and Dan. They get letters from their biggest fan. It's
Yeah.
a little too varsity cheer for me.
Yeah, I mean,
But we played it for you, Rob.
I think I'm using lots of his stuff. He's great.
So settle
But
down.
you know, as you know, some things are on the cutting room floor, but I don't know. I'll probably play it all the time now that
Look at your little friends.
Now that he-
play my
Hold on.
song.
Now
It's
that
because
he
he
had his-
signed it Hotmail rules.
He had
That's
his-
why
Oh,
we're
yeah.
going to play
he had
it.
his wife email in for us. Hey,
Yeah.
honey, you asked for
Are
it.
you guys interested in a third?
He said that?
Perked up.
Anyway, tell us about your trip to
Well-
Aggie Land for your other job.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a semiconductor summit
What?
at Texas A&M. And this other production company, it's just, you know, you need to mic up several speakers and have videos and graphics ready. I mean, it's just a giant remote, which I'm very familiar with. So just a little temporary job. But a couple things from it is once you have people mic'd up and they're off for like an hour, you get to just kind of sit there. And so I decided I'm working on my drops page over here, and it's coming together nicely. But I felt like such an idiot during the show because I was just laughing to myself while these people are talking about the chip shortage.
That's still going on.
Yeah, and
What happened? I thought.
we get most of our chips from Taiwan,
Okay.
and that needs to be an American-made product.
Why?
We need to bring jobs back to Texas.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, that's
That was
what
the
I picked
theme.
up.
Yeah.
But I'm over here in the corner pulling fart drops.
That's what they kept saying. They thought it's an American thing.
Yeah,
Chips.
it needs to be.
Okay.
So I'm just sitting here pulling these.
I'm not a huge fart drop guy. I don't think Dan is either.
Come on.
I just not. It's just not. It's not my thing.
Okay. Well, I have a row of them.
Good.
Got some
I got
OJ.
a little getting even to do.
Got Jerry.
I'm a midget.
What name? What name? Who are you, Seal?
Anyway, pulled
So
some
these people are
drops,
trying to save the global economy.
and I'm pulling drops
20 feet away
Yeah,
from you.
and giggling because I found a pretty good fart sound effect.
I also think if we're table talking here,
Uh-oh.
I'm just saying we need to be coming up with new drops as well.
Yeah, I pulled some of those.
In fact, Jake, I think, has a couple new drops he might like to play for you.
One thing
While
we need
he
to
learns-
address. I can't even fart outside anymore.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Speaking of that, the people have spoken.
Sure.
Didn't we get it?
Emus.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Emus.
Yeah, I was wronged.
Emus.
Yes.
It is emu.
Yeah.
I know.
And that got me thinking. Dan, I think, just likes to say moo because he says Muslim, and he says
does say Muslim.
emu.
Emu.
I've always said emu.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe it's an American thing, and Blake's just being respectful to the indigenous people from wherever emus come from. But looks like we wronged him on this one, Dan.
So coming up 35.
Emus.
You got to stop at the check stop, right? Get some kolaches.
Not the best ones.
Where do you get the best ones?
Go across freeway.
I did. Because that's the place that carries the West News.
Oh, yes.
That's right. I was threatening to get a subscription to that at one point.
So I'll read a couple things that I like, but I'm going to give Dan his favorite section, which is Senior Center News. I believe you liked reading from that section.
He actually gets that one sent straight to his Hotmail.
But I would like to show you and the class.
Is that comedy?
The front page.
No.
That Jake's funny line of the day? Wait, what does it say?
Oh, homecoming.
The front page of the newspaper is the homecoming lineup.
For West Texas.
Yeah. And it's a 2-page story. Let's see. Gus is the son of Matt and Nicole Crane. He is to be escorted by his mom, Nicole Crane. Gus plans to attend MCC Fire Academy and earn a trade certification from TSTC.
Look at that, Gus.
2 pages of just like what they're going to read at the game during halftime.
That's pretty sweet, actually. When I worked for the Plano Star Courier, they would do a story on each school in Plano's valedictorian and salutatorian. And here I am making $7 an hour at 3 different jobs, and I'm calling like Plano's valedictorian. She's like, "Yeah, I got a full ride to MIT." She's like, "I'm going early next month." I'm like, "God,
what a loser I am."
Yeah, it's just like everything went so poorly for me. She's like, "I'm a member of 10 clubs. I had a 4.3."
Well,
what do you got in Senior Source over there?
Did you just mute yourself just to clear your throat?
Yeah, no one wants to hear
What's
coughing.
wrong with that?
No one wants to hear coughing.
Dan always had a problem with that.
I do. I just think that if you just ride that mute button your whole life, we're here.
Your whole life.
We're just a bunch of people sitting here talking. You don't mute yourself at the
Yeah,
bar
but I don't
when you're
cough
hanging
at
out.
someone.
You don't.
You turn your
away.
head.
Okay.
So would you rather me just
Yeah.
just do that? That's better?
I don't know.
You don't wear a headset at the bar either. You might.
Yeah, I do.
Bold Springs Cemetery Group to meet October 15th. They've scheduled their annual business meeting at 2 p.m. at the Holiday Inn Express. The main topic for open discussion will be in regard for the installation of a gate to keep the cemetery locked from dark to daylight due to vandalism and parties.
Oh, yeah. Nothing
The
like
cemetery party.
Nothing like a cemetery kickback.
I love this newspaper.
It's open for discussion. You know, we'll hear from everyone. Gate, no gate.
One other thing, unless Dan wants to read some of that, but they have a contest each week to pick games.
Oh,
So they give you 12 games to pick. I think it's 4 high school, 4 college, 4 pros. I think we've all proved that we're not very good at it. But Marcella Claus won last week's football contest. She picked all 12 games correctly.
Whoa!
Marcy.
Let's get her on.
For her winnings, Marcella received a $20 gift certificate from the Pizza House.
Fantastic. That's a night out.
If she hits a 12-game parlay, she could make a couple $1,000.
Yeah.
And she got $20.
$1,000. Yeah, a couple thousand. You can make $100,000 on that.
I mean, depending on how much you put down, but
I guess it's all money line, right?
Those
I'm
I'm
sure
sure
they're not
were.
picking the line. Yeah.
Yeah, it's high school. So
Yeah.
congratulations,
hey,
Marcella.
Marcy.
12 game. Yeah, that's pretty big.
$20 worth of pizza.
How can we join that?
So
do you email in or?
Yeah, do you want to see the slate for this week?
I think we should try to take her on. and see if we could win the West Texas.
Marcy v. Chappie.
See,
Booker.
I was thinking if I was ever in,
Maybe in
first
there.
of all, I wouldn't be in homecoming. But if I was in the local paper like that, Mom would save it.
I think I was.
Were you? You were in the homecoming. You were
Court?
almost the king.
No,
Were they voting on
we
you?
rigged it.
Let's see what's in here.
We rigged it for a buddy of mine.
And then they also do the cool thing of
Not for like the dorkiest guy in school.
we did that, and
He
I
wa-
hated it.
We
Yeah.
did that for class president
Yeah.
because the girl that was much like Tracy Flick, she was. Everyone knew she'd be class president, but we rigged it so this other guy would, and he was like the dopiest dude, and everybody always made fun of him. And after he won it, the teachers made us have like a revote, and after
Ridiculous.
yeah, like it was not democracy. In
Yeah,
action.
that's ridiculous. What is this? A third world country?
There you go. There's
Yeah.
the football picks.
We rigged it for a buddy of mine who wasn't exactly the guy you're describing, but he also wasn't like a hunk.
They also
you
do
guys
a
don't know.
Circle the winning team.
a
Okay.
50 years ago page where this was like the front page 50 years ago.
That's a good bit,
It is
especially in a
it's
small town.
I read this whole thing. It's great.
That's a good bit.
I love the West News.
Alabama at A&M.
Very emotional.
It's a tough one. A&M students were camped out when I got there.
Wednesday night.
Yeah, for tickets.
Do they go to class? How does that work? I've always wondered. Just no.
They were
Okay.
just tents around the stadium.
See the dog?
Plus, it's probably like fun.
Dude,
Somebody put their thumb in it.
if you're
I
in
was going to ask you
college.
guys.
Well, I've never
There's
seen it.
an abnormal obsession with that dog.
You think?
Oh, you didn't know?
No.
Yeah,
like,
he's not been down there.
I
Oh,
took this
okay.
picture.
Yeah.
Is there a college down there?
If you
They actually have
a
like
guy,
there's a
That guy definitely did stuff to that dog.
no doubt. There's no doubt.
You see that guy?
I've always thought somebody was thumbing that dog.
put it on the video. Let's see. Just hold it up.
Yeah, there's a guy who has to take care of the dog, and I
Ooh,
think
he's
if the,
kissing it.
if
Yeah.
the dog barks in class,
Who's
class
doing that?
lets out or something.
What?
You've heard that before, right, Dan?
The weirdest,
Yeah,
weirdest people.
yeah,
Yeah, like he has to walk. He's with the dog all day, or maybe they hand it off week to week.
probably
I
something
would
like that.
think you wouldn't want to do it for.
to
the
to
whole
another
semester.
fake army man.
But then the dog graveyard is behind the stadium.
Yeah.
With all of the dogs, the reveillees.
Now that's where I want to have a party.
Yeah.
in the dog
cemetery.
graveyard,
Yeah,
right by the. What is it by the newest national championship that they hung up?
Nope.
1926.
Nope.
Yeah, from they just came up with one. Elsewhere today, you know what I wanted to do? I want to do some stuff because it is a free show Friday, and we're using it to promote our Patreon, and maybe you can go sign up if you want to follow us and listen to stuff that's audio. I did want to play you some videos that also would be fine audio.
That's a good idea.
And so I'm going to do that here. And I just wanted to show you like some things that people send me. Number one, this is what my daughter sent me this morning. This was a text that I think I can add this up there. Can you see that?
Okay.
I don't know if this is real or not, but of course it says the text is National Transfer Money to Your Daughter Day is celebrated on October 6th every year. She took a screenshot of her Google search. National Transfer Money to Your Daughter Day. This is what you guys have to look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, it shows up. I don't understand. I have no idea what this. I don't know. I'm confused. I'll just put it to you like that. But it does show up as a day of the year, which is odd because it's probably kind of like us asking when White History Month is.
Ooh, I forgot to.
Like, aren't you just thinking? Wasn't that like 350 days this year?
Yeah, well, every day. Yeah, every day, as it should be. Correct.
Dan's video distracted right now. This is
No,
Yeah.
well, no. I was just trying to find another one I forgot to put up in the queue, but somebody was at their kid's blood drive yesterday and texted me, and I'll just have to describe it. It says, in collaboration with Carter Blood Center, the vein drain.
okay.
That's what they
Okay.
call it. It's called the vein drain.
Huh.
So, yeah. pretty exciting,
That's
isn't it?
creepy.
But here is the video / audio, just to prove we can show these up here and listen at the same time. This is one I played you a piece of this audio last week, I think, but it's from an Austin news station, and now you can see the video along with it. Okay.
True. And speaking of the Austin area, what a beautiful. Brian, are those trees changing colors?
Nope, they're dying.
Oh.
Because of the heat.
Oh, I thought it was fall.
Sorry.
It does look beautiful. It's fall and all that kind of stuff.
Are those trees changing colors?
But now this is going to be, the title of this is Things People Send Me.
Okay.
Things people send me.
Yeah, I have an inclination of where this is headed.
Here's one thing somebody sent me, and these are usually just somebody watching their TV. They pull out their phone and they send me the video.
Yeah, maybe it's Cleveland based, maybe it's South Lake based. I mean, I can't really think of anything else that people would just be stoked to send only you.
The Florida coastline for as long as anyone can remember.
About a hammerhead shark.
For decades, massive creatures, some longer than 16 feet, weighing more than 1,600 pounds, have been caught in the waters here. But there's one hammerhead that dwarfs all others. Huge in size, alien in appearance, and by all accounts, dangerous. A monster known as Old Hitler. Old Hitler was first sighted during World War II, when Navy sentries were posted around Florida to keep watch for German U-boats. But they spotted something else lurking here. A massive shark, bigger than any hammerhead on record. They named him Old Hitler, and a legend was born.
He terrorizes the whole East Coast. You listen to anybody up and down the whole eastern seaboard, you probably hear something about Hitler.
Yeah, old Hitler is huge.
Old Hitler was what, 22 feet long?
And these people look like they sound. That guy, the first guy,
Yeah.
had literally one tooth in the front of his mouth. Literally one tooth. Things people send me. Somebody was watching golf a couple weeks ago and sent me this.
Jackets on, jackets off.
Okay.
I'm married to a jacket.
So, yes, in their golf game show thing.
Round.
This is something somebody
match.
sent me when watching, I don't know, they're watching some morning show. Oh, maybe this was on the Today Show.
Good show.
We're looking at the heat building out west. More rain in the Mississippi River Valley. That's what's going on around
What's the TV on a...
Good morning. We're waking
All right, don't talk over when he says the C word.
Sorry.
Jesus.
Just play it again.
All right.
It's a very small TV.
We're looking at the heat building out west. More rain in the Mississippi River Valley. That's what's going on around the country. Good morning. We're waking up to a mix of.
I'm just saying, this is what people send me.
I can barely hear that.
Unfair
so,
edit.
Yeah.
It was, yes, the Today Show flipped over. And then this is another very similar one.
Take place between November 9th and the 12th in London and online.
Looking ahead now, if you're planning to get a glimpse of the Ring of Fire solar eclipse, it's coming
That's
up on
right. So
Saturday.
somebody watching TV in Arizona
Track it on their website.
has to send me this.
The auction will take place between November 9th and the 12th in London and online.
Looking ahead now, if you're planning to get a glimpse of the Ring of Fire.
I am planning on that. Thank you, news lady in
Yeah,
Arizona.
you need to plan. You need to plan. You need to have a map.
So a lot of those were flubs or things that people were thinking sounded dirty and all that kind of stuff. This one, though, comes to us from a good patron, a listener, Evan Nemec. Evan Nemec.
Good dude.
Very
Known him a
good
long
dude.
time.
Well, that's just great.
Yeah, just Blake,
All
Jake,
these good dudes.
guys who actually interact with the P1s,
Yeah.
email them back, DM them back.
I
maybe
think it's
meet up
because
them
we get
in
recognized
person.
out in public.
That's what it is, probably. There's
Okay.
a chicken and the egg. I don't know. Sorry, we know our customers, and Dan just been able to have his feet up for 25 years and not really engaged, but some of us are doing the street work.
So he is on KTXS.
I knew that.
Where is it?
I want to say San Antonio.
Why would you have a question mark there for your good friend, Evan Nemec? I thought you guys are...
I think he's Abilene.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
Mr.
I know the guy.
Friend.
He sends us audio all the time.
And why didn't you bring this in? It was emailed to you as well.
Don't know.
Oh, maybe because you're so in touch with the listener and you're so interactive with the listener, I suppose.
Let's see here.
Anyway, what an a-hole. Here is what Evan Nemec sent us from his broadcast.
Is this from August? Is that what you're saying? Is this the one you're talking about?
So if it was from yesterday, did you play it in August?
No, I didn't. I'm just wondering why.
Oh, wait. So you're in touch with the P1 today, but not in August? What are you saying?
I'm saying that in August we had a little bit of stuff going on.
Y'all were busy in August.
Oh, I had stuff going. Oh, I guess I didn't have
Blaring.
anything going on, though. It was just you.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Are you okay now?
Yeah, I'm much better.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you're able to do the show.
Why am I blurry?
Here is what Evan Nemec sent us. On the ticket.
Maybe some rain
Not on
chances down the road. So
That's
all of
not
that
Evan.
and more we will focus on coming up in your full forecast.
All right, thank you, Brad. Artificial intelligence is becoming more and more of a factor in everybody's world. Everybody's world. In some ways, it's good. In other ways, not so good. K-Texas reporter Chelsea Burrows shows us how scammers are using AI and what you need to know to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Look at them all grown up.
Dude, I actually heard a story about this from our buddy David Ruff.
That's a nice suit.
With Washed Media. His parents got a call from someone saying that his sister had been in like a horrific car accident. She lives, I want to say, like
Evan Nemec?
No, but along the same topic.
All right.
You'll see where I'm going. David Ruff's sister. And I think she lives in Dallas, and they said she was like somewhere way south of Dallas. And what had happened was like the people needed money or something. It was obviously a scam, but older people, you want your parents or grandparents to be aware of this. They said that she was like in jail because she caused the accident. I think what had happened is like, when you get a telemarketer call and you might say like 4 words, that they modeled her voice in AI. Okay, so that's what happened. It wasn't someone saying that. It was her voice saying, like, I'm in jail or something like that. But it sounded a little bit off.
Uh-huh.
But they were able to take enough of what's out there of her voice and model her reading this statement that, hey, I'm in trouble. I need you to send this money to this account or something like that. And his parents, like, sniffed it out, I guess. But some wouldn't. And I mean, there's a lot of audio of us out there, so
Yeah.
it probably wouldn't be too terribly hard.
Well,
So tell
I
your
don't
mom.
think my mom has any money to send you, so don't try that.
Yeah, but you hear stories about even people that are kind of
And
broke that are thinking.
I won't send money to anyone for anything. I don't negotiate
That's right.
with terrorists.
That's right. Just let the hostage die.
Sometimes.
Got to crack a few Gregs to make a Tomlet.
Well, I mean, sometimes for the economy, people have to die. That's kind of like
true.
what I like to say. I would like to do a business update very quickly, if we can. And that's the business update music.
It sounds businessy.
And that is, a few days ago, we talked about the fact that on our Twitter handle, the Dumb Zone, right? At the Dumb Zone, we went ahead and subscribed to the blue check because we had been reading, surmising that if you don't have the blue check, you won't get, I don't know, what's the word, aggregated. You won't get pushed out there as much.
The algorithm.
That the blue check actually helps you get your word out there more, and we want the word to be out
Exposure.
there, and we want people to subscribe and stuff, and that's because we're very subscription based right now. We can't live. We can't eat. Oh, as a matter of fact, we just got I don't know if you know this, Blake, we got a pretty hefty bill in the email regarding the recent doings that we've been undertaking.
You still want to be 33% of the show?
Yeah, you want to pay 33% of our bill?
You guys said that y'all are handling that.
Can I yell at him now?
And that
I want to be part of the show. But I don't...
I was the guy that just came in after the war was done and patted you guys on the back. That's what you guys said when I showed up.
Oh, it's what you guys said.
Well,
Nah,
it's way bigger than I had anticipated, and it's let's just say, if you guys want to go do some math, if you
don't give a number.
I was just going to say probably 3 months of the Patreon.
Jeez.
It's pretty big. Now they'll let us pay it over time, I think.
But they're going to come by and whack Blake in the knees with a bat.
That's right. We put you as the
collateral.
Yeah. Anyway, how's the blue check going? That's all that was said just to lead to this.
We got 200 more followers.
Okay. Do you feel like that is because of the blue check, or there's no real reason?
I don't know. The timing.
Are you tweeting out two different things?
Yeah, so I've been
the same day just to see, does the one with the link get less? Does the one without the link? Because I think the thought was they don't want us putting links on there because that sends you outside of Twitter. You just want to stay within the bubble.
So I did this for one day. I just put a picture up with, hey, episode coming in. And then 2 minutes later, tweeted out just the link. And the picture got, looks like about 50% more views than just the link. And it has the same number of retweets.
So I don't understand his world, but it's a part of mine.
Yeah, right. And then our cute little videos that we'll tweet out, those do pretty well. Those got twice as much exposure than the picture did.
You don't have to leave.
Right.
And I know
I guess we don't know what these things mean. Exposure, what does it do?
Well, I was actually going to pay the legal bill with it.
Yeah, here. I just sent the law firm, hey, here's our exposure.
This check is good for impressions.
That's right.
I know that like it's a really boilerplate take right now, but the link thing, not as it pertains to us, but like the way that links are showing up on Twitter now, it annoys me. I don't like that.
It takes away the. Have you seen that? It
There's
takes
no
away
headline.
headlines.
Yeah, and you can't even really put the writers. Like if you want to retweet something, it might not even have the writer's handle in there. It's annoying. It's also funny because people have just been photoshopping like breaking, Elon Musk eaten by rats in his own home. There's just a photo with his house and his picture on the front of it. Kind of created like with most things, it seems like he's done a little bit of a 1 step forward, 2 steps back, unintended consequences.
Something you said there makes me want to shift into this. Sports.
From the wonderful world of sports, radio sports.
Because you are, I thought it was a little bit selfish there, your complaints about Twitter, because you are a writer. And you wrote an article this week. And I did not get to it. Did you want to at least tell us about it or send us to it? Or are we allowed to tell people on YouTube to go there? You're allowed to say the headline?
It's dmagazine.com/sports. We definitely did talk about it on Monday and Tuesday.
I don't think you ever got in depth on it.
No, not super in depth. And maybe now.
What's it about?
Deron Bland.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty badass, man. I mean, I'll pull it up here so I can see some of the stats.
We're going to need him.
But, yeah, you think? The first game, and I've heard Micah talk about this, it was kind of a find your foot. I mean, the reality is they got smacked by the Cardinals, so there's no excuse. But first game without Diggs, and you're trying to figure out, like, who are we? What are we? But Deron Bland stepped up last year when Jordan Lewis went out and played the inside corner position after never doing it in college. Well, I can't say never. I know he spent 4 years at Sacramento State and then 1 year at Fresno State. Maybe he had a COVID exemption for 1 more year. But I went back and looked at his college numbers. He played like 590 snaps outside and 10 inside. And he was a 5th-round pick. And then he goes to the NFL, and they're like, our inside corner went down. And they just threw him out there. And he excelled. He had a great rookie year. A 5th-round pick out of Fresno State, no less. This is not like a guy who was, hey, I just happened to be 3rd or 4th on Alabama's depth chart, so I didn't get great playing time, but they picked me up in the 5th round. I just had the traits. I just didn't break through in college. I mean, he was an FCS player the first 4 years in college on the outside, kind of like with Micah looking at him in college and being like, hey, you know what? I think that guy might be an edge rusher, even though he did it 10% of the time in college. They looked at Deron Bland and said, we think he can play inside or outside. So they throw him out there for Lewis last year. He's been in the slot for the first 2 games this year. Diggs goes down. Now he's an outside starting corner. And he was great. He had the 2 picks the other night. He had a dropped pick. He had, I believe, at least 1 or 2 other forced incompletions. Since the start of last year, he has the most interceptions of any player in the league. And he's a 5th-round pick who has been playing 2 positions, one of which he didn't play in college. Like, that is such a huge win for the...
He had more interceptions than anyone in the league in 2 years?
If you go back to week 1 last year through 4 weeks this year, he is the league leader. He's at least tied. And he's housed a couple of them. You know, he's got great speed. You don't see that many guys who can play inside and outside, period, anymore, much less guys who can do it at a high level on the fly. You know, that's another thing that reminds me of Micah early on. Is it week to week, they just told him, you're playing at different positions now. And he just did.
And I wonder, do we credit Dan Quinn? Like,
for sure. Again,
I see what he can do. I'm going to, would someone else perhaps not even try?
Yeah, Will McClay, Dan Quinn. I mean, they've got a lot of wins right now. At least Micah was a first-round pick, even though he wasn't, you know, in a redraft, he'd go, 2?
Well, and don't you think that's why, okay, the Trey Lance thing, if there's criticism on it is, hey, a 4th-round pick, no other team was willing to give that.
Yeah, we don't know that for sure.
4th-round pick
but
is valuable.
It is.
You know, well, if a team was willing to give that, you would have to tell me that it wasn't, you know, Kansas City or Philly or just another considered a top-tier team, because you would have said, all right, Arizona's 4th-round pick? Yeah, I'll take that. That's probably going to be a pretty good one.
No, they do have value. Now, one thing the Cowboys have working for them is it's kind of cyclical, because they draft well enough that they get to a point where this guy's good for 4 years for us, but we don't want to pay him to keep him, and then another team does, and then they just keep getting 4th and 5th and 6th.
But they pay these superstars.
Yeah, but
guys they don't want to lose for sure.
They let Connor Williams go because they're like, you were good, you're not good enough to stay, and then they get probably a 4th for that because somebody else pays him money.
I guess, having confidence in your drafting ability.
Yeah, they're in a good spot
for you.
And so that was that one. I did want to play you a little bit of something. Speaking of Micah, this was, I want to say from Wednesday. This is kind of long. We can start, stop, not play the whole thing. But I listened to Micah's podcast. Micah has a podcast now. Everybody's got a podcast. But it's called The Edge. And it's cool to hear Micah talk, but it's not, there's nothing too spicy in there. It's about 25 minutes long. He records it live on Bleacher Report. Interestingly, he does not pull the normal athlete move of like his dorky white friend recording it with him. It's just Micah on YouTube or Twitch taking comments.
Everyone needs a Blake.
Exactly. You got to have your tech bro buddy to, you know, kind of guide it. He doesn't have that. He's just him in front of a computer.
And he hits every topic.
It is current. Basically around the horn. I would not be surprised if he has Kevin McCarthy opinions on Monday morning. Or maybe Tuesday morning with a late game. But one of the things he kind of went in on was the whole Rodney Harrison thing. Now, we never played that, but it was Rodney Harrison talking to Chris Jones after the Chiefs-Jets game, and Rodney Harrison is like, don't tell me you didn't look at this tape and think he's not garbage.
Yeah, that was a viral thing.
Yeah, and most players are not really going to lean into that. You know, it's the NFL. They work for their agents. They want to win. They know they could be on this guy's team or that guy's team anytime. You'll get trash talk on the field, but you don't see a ton of it in the media. Some guys do it for the most part. It's not normal. And Micah took issue with that and wanted to defend Zach Wilson. And you know, you might like to hear from him on that.
Micah, you spoke on Zach Wilson's treatment from the media. You don't ever see a player really talk about an opponent. What made you feel like you had to talk about that?
You know, just for me, I'm all about just staying in it. And I just feel like so many times that the media just always throws out negative things on certain players. And I just think it's almost like bullying online. Like we're just being social media bullies. And, you know, you really hate to see that, especially because it's one thing if you say I'm garbage to my face, we're on the field, we're competing, and we're we're hammering out, and it's just getting the best of us. We're in the moment. But it's another thing when a guy came to defend himself. You don't know what's going on in his room. You don't know what's going on in their team, and you just out there calling another man garbage on live TV. I feel like, and we see that in the draft when guys use these moments where this should be a special moment for a kid and bash them about their past. I just feel like as humans and as like people,
I wonder.
And he gets to that.
people
Wonder
who have
who
these
that happened
platforms,
to.
we should just be better and more mindful of how we talk about people and how those things can impact someone. And because you never know what someone's journey is, you never know their story. So I'm just calling out the social media bullies because we really shouldn't be like that, bro.
Is it worse when it's a former player?
I think it is worse from a former player because you should know better than anyone how it goes, how you're treated, how things could be misinterpreted, especially because no one knows your defense better than you do. No one knows their offense better than they do. So we don't know if Zach Wilson's making bad reads. We don't know if the receiver's making the wrong route. We don't know any of that stuff. We just know what we see from our own two eyes, and it's all about perspective. So perspective of the judgment is what I'm talking about. So you can be who you are, but as a true, honest player, and where I'm coming from, I would never speak down on someone. Just like the Daniel Jones play. They talk about Daniel Jones so much, but I just saw 5 people just come free. But how's he supposed to make a read when he has 6'8" defensive linemen in his face? Like, it's just perspective, And I just think people need to take better perspective on how they talk about people and how they treat people online.
Does it remind?
We'll do a little bit more here in a second. But, I mean, obviously he's kind of fighting a losing battle because you make a lot of money to do this, and part of making a lot of money to do it is that you're a public figure. This applies to a lot of different jobs, and you just kind of have to take it. But I like hearing him talk about it.
Yeah, no, he's, everyone's playing their part in this world. The Rodney Harrison is playing his part.
Well, it was kind of weird, though. It's not that common to hear a guy just to just say, yeah, this guy's garbage.
Well, because he set him up for a question, and then when Chris Jones took the high road, he came back to it.
Yeah, Chris Jones was like, no, I think he's getting better. He had a great game tonight.
Yeah, I guess it's one thing to be doing it on your own, hot take thing.
Yeah,
and then asking a current player to do that to another current player.
That was weird.
Yeah.
And I think I have this part marked here. Let's see.
It is what it is.
Does the criticism remind you of when you came out of the draft? Because it was talking about some things that you had done.
Yeah, for sure. And I know what it feels like to have everyone go against you. I know what it feels like to have people bash you online and
who else
things
does?
like that. And it's never good. You see the stuff, people tell you about the stuff. Oh, do you see this? Even sometimes my mom would say, "Oh, you see so and so got released." I said, "Yes, Mom, I saw that." But people just see that stuff online and they even give it to you. Ask Clarence what them little kids said to me. Yes.
So I assume right here they're talking about maybe like a charity thing, or they'll go do hospital stuff during the week or things like that. And usually there's a beat reporter there with them. This is kind of funny.
Give it to you. Ask Clarence what them little kids said to me yesterday. 10, 11-year-olds were like, "Do you like that? He throws interceptions." I was like, "What the hell?" Like, I said, parents, y'all gotta get them from Twitter. Like, it's just. So, y'all got to realize the influence that you guys have in these platforms because, listen, I don't want no 10-year-old telling me that my quarterback stinks. So I definitely think we need to be mindful of what we see on TV and what we see online because these kids look up to us.
You say more NFL players.
That's probably enough. But, yeah, just the idea of some 10-year-old, some 5th grader being like, "Micah, do you think Dak sucks? He does too many picks."
I mean, he did lead the league in interceptions last year.
Mostly
He missed
not his
like
fault.
4 games.
They got that from ESPN and Twitter.
Yeah. But anyways, that was an interesting perspective from Micah. I'll play you one more piece of audio here, okay? It's sports adjacent, Dan, so you don't have to play an interstitial. You can if you want.
Not a Cowboy thing?
No, you got more Cowboy?
Just going to mention a couple Cowboy things.
Okay.
One is, I don't know if this impacts your gambling. Maybe we'll ask Chappie, who won big last night.
He did.
The offensive line is fully healthy now.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Another thing is...
What, did I see that right, that Tyler Smith and Tyron Smith haven't played in a game yet together?
That might be right.
That can't be right.
That seems crazy.
I thought they did last year when Tyron came back.
Yeah, that was okay.
Or maybe it's alongside because
It's the five of them.
The five of them together
haven't
for
played
sure.
together in
That's definitely
2
the
years,
case.
or
yeah.
Maybe it was alongside because Tyron came back and played right tackle, right? So maybe they haven't played next to each other.
That might be.
That's right, because Tyler was left tackle last year.
Yeah, and they were
and
using,
so this year in training camp they were moving him to left guard.
Or in fact, the old guy,
Peters, Jason Peters, played left
Yeah,
tackle.
yeah. Okay,
sorry.
No. Do you think that Trey Lance has any impact on this game?
Not really. I mean, I think he
Just
has
the practice leading up to it.
I think he might have more impact than Zeke did.
Yeah, did Will Greer and Zeke have an
Yeah.
effect for the Patriots?
And maybe more impact than Will Greer did, but no, I mean,
Well, the Patriots are the Patriots also.
Well,
so it's tough to. I mean, these are two teams that are very close
and have played 2 times in the postseason in the last 2 years. Like, there's not a whole lot that I think Trey Lance is going to be able to give them. But I mean, they got 2 tapes, and the teams are basically the same. You know, so I don't know. That's not to say that Shanahan's just going to roll the same thing out there, because that's not his bit. But I don't. Not too much of an impact, no.
And the other thing was just something from earlier the week that we never mentioned. That Randy Gregory got released.
Wild. I
Don't
guess
you
I need to
think?
look at. Yeah, I haven't seen like how the cap impact hit is of that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I
How
mean,
many years ago? That wasn't. It wasn't this past offseason. It was the offseason before, right?
Yeah, I mean, but this is still only the second year.
Yeah, he's only had one full year with the Broncos.
And he didn't play that much last year.
Injury?
I think there was maybe some personal reason stuff.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that you're very upset when it happens. That they lose Randy Gregory, and then it turns out to be maybe a little bit of a blessing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably...
He had only put together, what?
A season and a half total.
Yeah, this was kind of like the drafting Julius Jones #1 overall in our fantasy league. Like, he had eight consecutive games of really good.
Yeah, you could probably talk me into the idea that he would have been fine if he had just been here, because they were the ones who had been able to straighten him out, quote unquote, and mental health help. The league laxes on pot rules. But either way, I mean, Sam Williams is solid. Dorrance Armstrong is solid. Like, they're leading the league in pressure rate. And so
didn't Fowler cause the
chase down? Yeah, I mean, they've got enough going on that paying Randy Gregory that amount of money was probably a wise decision to pass on.
But an annoying reason, because it's better to have 2 players than one, was their reasoning.
Yeah, and they didn't even spend close to the amount of money on the 2 players that they did on the one. So that was that felt like a training camp bit of fluff. So this clip, I saw it going around on social media last night. Chris Wallace, formerly of Fox News. I believe, Dan, you would know him. I mean, you might know him from a ton of stuff. He's been in the political media, Beltway media, for forever.
Isn't that where Where's Wallace comes from?
No, no, it's not. But I think he was the guy who was interviewing Trump outside the White House in a sit down when we got man, woman, person, camera, TV.
The cognitive test.
Yeah.
They couldn't believe it.
I'm pretty sure that was him. So he has a show now on I guess CNN has a partnership with HBO Max, and Chris Wallace now has an interview show called Who's Talking to Chris Wallace. And last night he had Al Michaels on, and I saw like a 30-second clip. So I went and watched pretty much the entire 25-minute episode and found a longer clip. Now, this is something that I think I might have heard before, but I don't think I've ever heard Al actually asked about this.
I think it's fair to say you're a tad eccentric. Is it true that you have never knowingly eaten a vegetable in your life?
That is true.
That is true.
I was born when my parents were 18, and my mother hadn't even read Dr. Spock at that point. So she just let me have the run of the course. And I always pushed the vegetables away. To this day, no. And I guess what I've proven, Chris, is that man does not need vegetables to survive.
But is it just possible that you would like? I'm thinking of one of the more non-objectionable vegetables, a carrot.
Oh, please.
A carrot?
No, I can't. No, that's an objectionable vegetable.
I mean, really? What? I mean, how would you know? You've never tasted it.
I look at it. I just don't even like the look of it. And I surmise what it might taste like in terms of the texture of it. I think a lot of it probably has to do, it just doesn't look like something that would go down well. Now you put a big steak in front of me and I'm going, let's go.
So flesh and blood.
Yeah, let's go.
That's appealing.
Now I will tell you that I somewhat identify with Al on the texture thing. That's always been my big holdup.
Of what?
Most vegetables.
Huh.
So it wasn't until I probably until like 7-8 years ago that I figured out that there's some vegetables that I like, because like I will vomit if I eat a piece of iceberg lettuce. But I eat like kale and spinach now. Spinach almost every day. Dude, the texture is totally different. The texture of a piece of lettuce is like crispy and crunchy and just effing disgusting to me. Like it makes me gag. But you get a little spinach. I like that. I like kale. I can do like squash and zucchini if they're cooked properly. But if I were to just eat raw squash or zucchini like some people do, that's horrible. I can't even imagine trying to stomach that. I think for most vegetable haters, it's texture. Now,
isn't it just boredom? Like, it doesn't taste great. It's a decision to just eat this for the betterment of your body.
Yeah,
but
you know, some
fun.
people do like it, though. I think Dan kind of likes broccoli.
Love broccoli.
I can't eat broccoli.
Why?
I cannot eat broccoli. Asparagus, I tolerate.
It's nature's colon cleanser.
Yeah.
But see, that's for the betterment of your body.
Yeah.
It's
not lucky that it tastes good.
But some people
okay,
like.
So you think it's
some people? I mean,
well, I guess maybe compared
like
to every other vegetable. Because if I know I need to eat something healthy, there are a list of vegetables, and I don't want any of the other ones.
But that's predicated by it's good for you.
But like, I like cherry tomatoes. Like, I legitimately like those.
But yeah, I can see that.
A raw tomato, disgusting.
No.
But a cherry tomato is a raw tomato.
Well, I guess I just mean the
raw.
texture of it is different, though. The texture of it to me, sun-dried tomatoes.
It's a little sweeter, I think.
And you can cook a cherry tomato a little bit, you know, char it up a little bit. But Al Michaels, who looks pretty good for his age.
Yeah. Well, how old is he?
I think he's
Did you say?
80.
Yeah,
I think he's 80. 78.
Man, I miss him.
Well, you get his corpse every Thursday night.
Yeah, no, but that's not the same.
Last night was the same thing, man. I tried for about half an hour, and I'm like, the game sucks.
You know what?
He doesn't want to be here.
I should have turned it on in the second half just because it was such a laugher by halftime, just to hear how beaten he was.
Dude, that's when I watched, and they just wanted to be anywhere else. Like, they're just lifeless. It's literally Al's corpse.
And then Herb Street is just so generic anyway.
Yeah. It was not good.
Do you think he watches Sunday night like with a bottle of scotch next to him?
Yeah, he's like, I could be doing Cowboys Niners right now.
And I'm doing Bears.
Bears Commander.
What's Commander?
On internet. That sort of loser.
Yeah, he has
leaves
no
their
idea
job
what that is.
To just go on internet.
I think we're done with that.
Yeah.
It's time for a dumb zone.
Not necessarily a break. Just an interstitial, Blake.
Hey, I'm sorry about the Evan Nimick, man. That thing was, I just, I lost my cool a little bit there. Are we cool?
Are you now mocking me? You mock it. It's because you mock it. All I'm saying is I don't need you looking at, oh, well, you didn't do this email last week. I wanted to mention a couple of things. One is there was an overworked Twitter joke regarding the phone. What do you call it?
Yeah, but it's a good joke, though.
What is it?
The emergency alert system. It has to do with, it was in many different forms, but it was the emergency alert system test will out a lot of cheaters due to their burner phones hidden around the house.
Oh, okay. That's not the one I saw. That's
Okay.
good, though. The one I saw, because I've told you guys about this certain genre of video. It seems like it usually comes from TikTok. But the one I saw was tough day for a lot of dudes who have a legal phone in prison right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
I saw that one as well.
They don't know. Like, they didn't see, like, the news or maybe that it was going to go off. It's like a lot of cells getting tossed today.
Even if though you can turn it off. I've turned off the other ones. I couldn't find how to turn this one off. I
Even,
tried to turn it off.
you're
the
like
day ahead.
you're putting all the pillows on top of it in prison and sitting on it. You got a blanket over it, and then there's just from the whole unit.
You mentioned your son's birthday is tomorrow.
Yes.
Little Carter, 1 year old. 1 years old. 1 year old. Yeah, 1 year old. And I want to stop by because I've been invited. Did you get invited?
Kind of.
No, not kind of. The answer is yes.
Well, I just don't have any information on it.
The better question, yes, you do. I told you the time. The better question is, did he get invited?
No.
What do you
that's
mean?
For your sake.
What?
I didn't invite you to Brooks's party because I didn't think you'd want to go. And I didn't want to put the pressure on you to have to say no or whatever.
You know I want to be invited to everything.
But you don't want to drive to Wiley and back.
But I want to be invited.
Okay.
Send me the invite.
You're invited to Brooks's birthday party.
I don't want an audio invite. I want a physical invite.
I just got a text, but
we didn't do physical invites.
And I got some stuff going on that day, but I tell you what.
Your wife didn't make a thing. I might go though, just to see Blake's house.
I'm gonna get out there even if the party is closing down when I get there. I believe the Cowboys play on Monday next week.
Oh yeah, we planned ahead.
Yeah, I figured so.
It's next Sunday?
Yes.
I'm totally free, man.
It's also slightly for me because I don't want to slightly get my hopes up that Dan might show up.
I'm gonna absolutely show up.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will. Uncle Dan. I want to be known as Uncle Dan.
It's Bluey theme.
Uncle.
Hell yeah.
No, but here's my thing.
Yeah,
I got a Stump Fest shirt.
I know your daughter.
Oh, nice.
I know your daughter hates your son. She's
4.
4.
We've actually had a couple good days, but in general,
1.
Yeah, it would be. That.
And I know this Saturday will not help this because it will be a day dedicated to him, and because he's a moron. He's 1. He doesn't know anything. He's going to shove cake in his face and blah, blah, blah. I was going to bring her a present. Isn't that a good bit?
Your wife actually did that once.
She did?
Yeah, you guys brought something over for Carter, and that's when she brought her those puzzles.
Oh, okay.
And don't tell her in case she's on the sub list, but we got her like a small training wheel bike. It's very cheap.
Oh, Nora?
Yeah. And we got him nothing. So
have you looked at the subscription list? Is Nora subscribing? Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
So that is a good idea. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I got her a bottle of Mad Dog 2020, and just a little Ranger talk because they start tomorrow, right during Carter's birthday party.
Yeah, I got to figure
and
out.
Texas. So when's the party?
12:30.
Okay, so it's right in the heart of everything.
Yeah, it's tough to avoid.
Dude, we should live stream. I think I mentioned that earlier.
You did.
The what?
Are you working?
The party?
You're working tomorrow?
I'll be in Iowa.
What the hell is your schedule like this weekend?
This week sucks.
All right, what are you doing?
Sounds like he's going to Iowa.
No, but I mean, blow by blow. Today you're going to Argyle.
Yeah, I got back at about 10 last night.
You didn't want pizza today.
No.
What's the?
I bought.
I'm trying to limit my F words, but
they have Chick-fil-A in the Argyle booth.
Well,
that's why he won't.
We're
get
playing
pizza
at Lake
on Friday.
Dallas tonight.
You could still have lunch. I brought a salad. It's not like we're going.
I had a bunch of kolaches. I stocked up in at the Czech stop
west.
And then let's see, Argyle game tonight. And then
okay, so 10 p.m. you get home last night.
Yeah, I'll get home tonight around 11:30. I'll be on a plane at 9. Land, I don't know, 11:30. Go to the stadium, set up 7 o'clock kick. Sucks. And then stay in Iowa, and then fly back Sunday afternoon.
It's baller.
Yeah, it's the way to do it.
I mean, it's busy and it's fun because it's busy, but it's a drag.
Plus, think of all the money.
It's just so little money. It's
and all
great.
that Iowa ass.
Yeah, all that. I can lend you guys like $50 for the.
We've already.
Hey, thanks, man.
For the legal fees.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about getting merch.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to table talk ideas, I have a good idea for a shirt, and I think we should a couple of shirts actually, which we will label as our legal fund shirts. So if you want to help, just like we could say, all the proceeds from this shirt will go to that.
Okay, that's a good idea.
And
any certain phrases you might like to?
Well,
not now. Don't.
It's a couple two-word phrase that I think is a fun one.
Let's keep those in house.
Okay. Non-starter is a good T-shirt, though, right?
It's pretty good.
Or hat. Anyway, we talked about the lowest attendance since 1919 already, which I don't know what your thoughts on that. I know you're like Mr. Baseball.
It's Tampa. I want them to move.
You want them to move to Dallas?
To Nashville.
Get Sports Mayor on the line.
Sports Mayor should have seen that. Boy, how come he didn't spring into action when he saw that the low attendance?
He might have been busy launching into space from Dubai or whatever he does.
Or Ted Cruz's yacht. But what about this? So online became a big thing. Astros fans versus Rangers fans. Emily Jones gets caught in it all of a sudden. So it was because an Astros reporter tweeted out a picture of the Astros like silently celebrating their division title, whereas the Rangers were spraying champagne celebrating that they made the playoffs. And of course, then you have Evan Grant, Emily, Ranger people put on their Ranger capes and flew to the scene to solve this and say, look, it was like a 15-minute thing, and then it wasn't that big of a deal. But they wanted to show that their enthusiasm toward being in the playoffs. Of course, this kind of becomes moot when the Rangers actually then hop on a flight for 5 hours and then just go sweep the little tiny series with the Rays. So it's like, oh, okay, that's fine. And now, of course, there's some snarky online stuff going back that way. Like, oh, is this okay?
This? Yeah.
Well, it was because the Rangers could have won the division the next day.
Yeah.
They celebrated getting into the playoffs, but this guy thinks that they partied too hard and lost the division the next day.
Which is not true.
Well,
they lost the division because they were throwing a bullpen game.
All I know is...
Well, Dunning went on short rest, and they did face George Kirby, who's a really, really good pitcher.
But you can't specifically say it wasn't true because you don't have the alternate reality where they did not have any celebration and then played a game. So you don't know. You don't know what it would have been like had they said, hey, wait, our job's not done yet. No champagne. So we don't know. Did it have any effect? Did Cabo, for Romo and Witten and Bobby Carpenter for some reason, have any effect on the Cowboys playoff game? You'd like to say no, but what if they stayed here? We'll never know. Probably, 3, 4 rings?
Yeah, in a row.
How many rings would they have had? Because usually if you win one, you win 2 or 3 more. But how about this? What about spraying champagne because you win 2 games?
Yeah,
I thought that was weird.
It's because you advance. Baseball over celebrates.
Because they did a huge champagne celebration after the Tampa series.
I don't have a problem with
that's
any
a
of this.
very this is our goal.
A round that didn't exist
So
5
yeah,
years ago.
And now this is
Or
just a
whatever it was.
5-game series, right?
Yeah.
So now if they win 3 games, now we do it again?
Yes.
Do they do this in any other sport?
Like the Texans go 8-8 and win the wild card game at noon on Sunday or Saturday. Wild card weekend.
A basketball series.
Baseball can't win. You celebrate a home run. Respect the game. You celebrate in the locker room after you advance in the playoffs. Hey, cool it.
So why not every game? Every game you win.
that's
Hey,
what I'm
we've
saying.
advanced 1 game.
Baseball can't win with this.
So it has to be if you close out a series. So do they do this in hockey?
No.
They don't. You're right. It's just baseball, but I'm just used to it. And I think it's cool watching people spray each other with stuff. That's cut that off for the promo. I did think it was interesting listening to a guy from Baseball Prospectus talk about Evan Carter, that I think they might have been the only publication that even had him in their top 500 1 year before his draft. Like he's like the only guy who really benefited from the COVID year, maybe.
I don't know a ton about Evan Carter.
He was a second-round pick.
That all of a sudden everybody loves him.
Just this guy was talking about how the Rangers were kind of the only ones who saw what they saw in him. And everybody thought when he was picked, like, what? This guy's not even on our list. And they picked him in the second round, 50th overall, back in 2021, I want to say. 2020.
Yeah.
And he pretty much started to rake right away. Like, he's never had a bad year. A, high A, double A, triple. Yeah. So, pretty damn amazing. And I can't remember if it was Jamie or who else said this, but, like, they literally might not have ever had a player like this. Because we've been talking for a long time about as great as JD was, it's really kind of hard to find past, like, Elvis and Kinsler. They didn't even draft Kinsler, did they?
Yes, they did.
Did they draft Elvis?
No, he was traded from the Braves.
Yeah. So outside of Kinsler, just trying to think of guys that they had homegrown that turned into either all-stars, like consistent, or superstars. And like you thought Gallo might have been that guy, but obviously that didn't work out long term. There just haven't really been that many outside of Kins,
with staying power. I mean, they had Hank Blaylock, who made the All-Star game.
Although that's been a while, but you're right. Yeah,
but
that's another one.
I mean, if Carter sticks around, he'll be the first of his kind.
Which is just, I mean, the guy who hit best for them was brought up like 25 games ago. And I think it's kind of cool that he hits ninth. I know that it's a bad bit to have like a hole at 3, but I think it's kind of cool that he hits ninth and then Seager and Simeon come up.
Well, and Josh Young hitting 8th.
Yeah. It's kind of a good bit.
I think it's
depending on how the game unfolds.
Yeah, the way that I thought about it is it's a good lineup when you're ahead.
Yeah.
Because if you're trailing and in the 9th, you go 3, 4, 5, and Simeon, Seager, Young, and Carter aren't going to bat, then you're gonna hate that.
That's true.
And you're taking at bats away from those two guys.
Other sports stuff that we didn't get to, and we might not if we don't even mention it. I did read that article you told me about in the Washington Post. Not the one featuring me and Jake.
Yep.
But it was the one about Woj versus Shams.
Pretty interesting, right?
Which is very interesting. I really didn't have any idea I didn't know the whole history. I didn't know the Shams was Woj's protege as a high school kid or maybe a college kid. And, I also didn't know that currently, do you know what Woj makes?
No.
$7 million a year. Shams, they say about $2 million a year, writing for The Athletic and doing some other stuff for like a gambling site or whatever.
Yeah, we should just talk about this next week because I think it's a bigger conversation.
Oh, okay.
Because the fact that these companies are so highly leveraged on breaking news and they're going to pay Schefter $9 million, and what's the female baseball reporter that breaks news? Or maybe it's Diana Rossini, maybe?
She's football.
Football, okay. They pay her a ton of money too.
Well, she just moved over to The Athletic from ESPN.
That was so that was mentioned in here, but the really interesting part of it is just that Shams works for Stadium, the TV network, and FanDuel. I think it's FanDuel. And he's like actively moving lines. DraftKings? Moving lines with his news.
Right. He had a tweet that so-and-so was going to be drafted 2nd overall, and the betting odds.
Oh, Scoot?
Mm-hmm.
And then he wasn't. And whatever that sports book made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people went to that sports book.
And of course,
and
people who are actual journalists who work for the New York Times, not to take a shot at Shams, but people who have been in the game a long time are like, you would kill us if we did something like that.
Right.
Like I've been covering the Knicks or whatever it might be, or markets, for example, for 25 years. And all of a sudden you're telling me this guy can just tweet something that moves an actual market. And he's like, oh, I had that wrong. And he works for the book?
Well, my bit on all of this is that these people are so highly overrated. And they are breaking news that you are going to know very soon anyway.
But they're highly overrated to you and to me.
They're not uncovering news.
But for whatever reason, those companies see that as an advancement of the brand. They are basically walking advertisements that if they can be the first to something, they'll get more engagement, and that will in theory, drive you back to the main platform of ESPN or The Athletic. By
But I
being
mean,
first and bigger, having a bigger reach is.
And that they're paid more than your investigative reporters.
Oh,
that, like the
way
lady
more.
that wrote I just read this. Who's the pedophile guy? Epstein.
Okay.
The Epstein book. The woman who did the reporting in Florida, and who she wrote the book and really uncovered. She's the reason Epstein got in the end, and she's making below six figures to do her job.
Yeah, I bet you Don Van Natten
Yeah.
doesn't make a tenth of what those guys make.
And this guy's making $7 million.
Okay, a 30th
to give out information that was going to be giving out very soon, but now he's got like an inside source just to tell me a little quicker. And she is uncovered, months research, years.
But again,
and that's like important.
That is not how these executives.
But I suppose that's the libraries and schools should get more money, and Tom Cruise shouldn't. Argument, I suppose. All right, let me do this because I'm not ready for any drainage. Are you?
I'm fine.
Or do you want to take a break?
I don't need to siphon the Python.
Okay, Uncle Gmail. Let's do this.
The Dumb Zone presents.
And then we have Chappie.
Today in
Did you forget Jake?
No.
Did you remember Blake? Like, did you tell him?
Oh, we talked.
Okay. Like talked or
On
just
the phone.
texted?
Yeah.
Did you get his voicemail?
He called me.
Make sure he's on.
We had other things to talk about, but that was discussed.
So
I'll be
vague.
downstairs.
So vague.
Come on.
All right, I got to look at Baker while we do this. Hey, buddy. Hold on. Let me really look at Baker. There he is. Got to go full screen sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
He's got the week off. Bye week. Today's Friday, October 6th, when we are recording this live to tape, high atop my garage in North Texas, in the Dragon Den of Inequality. On this day in 2010, your wife's life was changed forever, Jake. Maybe all our wives' lives were changed forever.
I need a new Band-Aid.
Does this involve Love Island?
No, Instagram was launched.
Oh.
Isn't your wife's life Instagram, or is it Facebook?
No.
Or it's just all of it?
If she does it, she does Instagram. But I don't. She's not. I mean, there are some people who literally, they put their entire life on there. Hers is mostly kid stuff.
It's just kid stuff.
Oh, it's just kid stuff. But yeah, I that's the way of the world for the woman.
In 2013, let's see. Matt Prater kicked a 28-yard field goal as time expired. Peyton Manning in Denver overcame the first 500-yard passing game in Dallas history.
51-48. I was at Austin City Limits.
I was at the game.
Tony Romo threw for 506 yards, 5 touchdowns.
And then he got stepped on.
Yep.
But as Tony Romo would do,
Andre Gerard.
he would throw a very late
Gerard?
Gerard? Yeah. Very late interception to set up the game-winning field goal. The second highest scoring game in regulation since 1970. Manning had only 414 yards and 4 touchdowns.
One of them rushing.
Really?
Yeah, that was where that sweet play action where he faked up the middle on the goal line and then just bootlegged out all by himself to the pylon.
That's good memory, man. I do not remember that. On this day in 1996, actress Elizabeth Taylor was married to Larry Fortensky. He was a construction worker. He was 39. She was 59.
Hell yeah.
That was her 8th marriage.
She hit double digits by the end?
Her 8th and final marriage.
Mm.
So I've always heard the Elizabeth Taylor drop, and I've known she was, like growing up, I had heard she's well known for getting married all the time. But didn't know anything about Elizabeth Taylor, so I thought I'd look into it and tell you guys about it. She was a child star in the 1940s. She was in. She debuted in the Lassie films. Do you know what Lassie is?
Yeah, the dog.
Yeah.
Border collie, right?
Someone's trapped in the well.
Yeah. I think that kind of a thing.
Okay.
The dog would alert people to stuff. Like the dog was really smart. And also, apparently, a movie called National Velvet really put her on the map. Probably a movie nobody's ever heard. We haven't heard of it, at least.
No.
Right?
No.
So her first marriage was in 1950. She was 18 years old. She married Conrad Hilton Jr.,
yes.
heir to the fortune. Their marriage lasted only 8 months due to his gambling, drinking, heroin addiction in 1950.
Opium was very popular. I mean, I guess that's not quite the same thing, but yeah.
And apparently he was very physically abusive. In fact, they're only married 8 months total, but during one of his outbursts, she was pregnant, and he kicked her in the stomach, causing her to have a miscarriage. So they were divorced 8 months after their wedding. Marriage 2 was to an actor. Conrad Hilton was about her age, so she married actor Michael Wilding, 20 years older than her. And that actually lasted 5 years. Or let's see, 4 years.
Good for you, Liz.
Her third marriage was to a producer.
Hey, I have a chance.
Mike Todd. And she was only married a year, so things were going pretty well. And then Mike Todd died in a plane crash.
I'm dead.
Todd's best friend was singer Eddie Fisher. Eddie Fisher was a very popular singer in the 50s.
Drummer for Fish.
So after his death, she was being comforted by Eddie Fisher. He was married to actress Debbie Reynolds. But, of course, he started doing stuff with
his wiener.
Yeah. And then that resulted in a public scandal once everybody knew about it. Taylor was branded a homewrecker. So then she married Eddie Fisher.
Well, I mean, yeah, the die's already cast. You might as well cash it in.
Fourth marriage already. She's only 9 years into her marriage career. They got married in Las Vegas.
That's a dynasty, 4 and 9.
So in 1961, her stardom really went to the next level. She stars in Cleopatra, which, in fact, she was the first movie star to be paid more than $1 million for a role. She also got 10% of the film's profits.
Points on the back end.
Points on the back end, indeed. And the co-star of that movie was named Richard Burton. Have you heard of that? He apparently was pretty famous back in the day. He was married, but
it's Hollywood, baby.
Does that matter? They started having an affair. He gets divorced, and they end up getting married in the long run. According to a sociologist, Ellis Cashmore, the fact that they were having an affair was confirmed by a paparazzi overseas. Was a photo on the yacht, and she says the publication of that photograph was a turning point, beginning a new era in which it became difficult for celebrities to keep their personal lives separate from public images. So she is famous in that sense. So anyway, that's who she ended up marrying. She ended up doing 11 different movies with him as well. And they were like the Hollywood couple, apparently, for like a decade. They led a jet-set lifestyle, spending millions on furs, diamonds, paintings, designer clothes, travel, food, liquor, a yacht, and a jet.
Under the board.
And they divorced in 1974. So they were married for a while. Let's see. Like a decade. Then, a year later, they think, that was a mistake, and they got married again, the same two.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you do 9, there's got to be at least one double dip.
And then a year later, they're like, no, that's
what were we thinking?
Again, a mistake. And then she married a Republican politician named John Warner from Virginia. That was her 6th husband in 1976. She did not like the life of a politician's wife. They said she became bored, lonely, depressed, overweight, and increasingly addicted to prescription drugs and alcohol. And then her last husband, of course, was on this day. In 1996, she married a
Some guy
construction worker.
on a forklift is like, yeah, I'll marry Elizabeth Taylor, even hefty Elizabeth Taylor.
I have one birthday from Patrick Neely. He says, Mein Führer, Hotmail user since 99, loyal Denton County dumbass.
This is how you get into this segment.
Would you please wish my bitch wife Misty a happy 44th?
Good grief.
I'm just reading.
It's the sort of behavior they condone over at Hotmail
He's
HQ.
hitting all the Dan bingo cards.
We also have current Cowboy Brian Anger, 35. Former Ranger Darren Oliver, 53. Former Ranger Ruben Sierra, 58. Future Maverick LeBron James Jr. is 19.
Is he doing okay?
Oh, yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, 24. Kyle Pitts, 23.
Poor Kyle Pitts.
Poor Kyle Pitts. Poor everybody that
Dude.
drafts Kyle Pitts in their fantasy league.
He's got the
Does he
lowest...
just suck?
No.
Are you sure?
He has the some analytical stat, the lowest percentage of catchable passes thrown his way in the league.
Have you watched Desmond Ridder play? It's disgusting.
He's horrible.
Really?
It's embarrassing.
In fact, one of his receivers, Mac Hollins, wouldn't give him a dap. Instead, got up and yelled at him when he was congratulating all of his teammates.
It's very bad.
Former Packer I learned about today, his name is Mike Hunt, is 67.
We do it every year. It's been done every year.
Just learned about.
I thought you said he stunk.
That's me. I just kind of go around talking about the scent of vaginas. That's my bit.
And it's because you got that candle.
That's true.
Actor Brett Gelman is 47. I love Brett Gelman.
Don't know it.
I think if you searched him, you might know him, but he definitely was on Fleabag. Did you do Fleabag?
No.
Great show.
Oh, yeah, I know this dude.
He's in Children's Hospital.
Yeah, that might be where I recognize him from.
You probably recognize him from Stranger Things.
No. Is that the one that reminded me of my childhood when I could go to the mall?
Yeah, Dan loves Stranger Things because it's about the 80s.
Yeah.
Back when I could
You guys remember, the thing about that show that I like is that it reminded me of when you could go to Blockbuster and rent tapes.
It reminded me of when I could get abducted off my bicycle by a child rapist.
Yeah.
And then nobody would believe me.
True nostalgia.
Nobody would believe me. They would just believe him. Died on this day, October 6th, Johnny Vandermeer. Okay, let's ask you.
Don't know it.
Olympics? I got no idea.
Man.
Some dumb baseball thing?
He's the only player in baseball history to throw consecutive no-hitters.
That's so cool.
To be the only player in the 100 and...
No, dude, that's...
Timothy Treadwell died on this day in 2003.
Oh, you ever watch that, Blake?
No.
Grizzly Man. He was eaten by a bear.
It's about a guy who thinks that he can communicate with grizzly bears, and it works for a little while until it doesn't, and then he's no longer with us. He was shot by a bear.
Born on this day, now they are not alive. Bum Bright, former Cowboy owner, and Roland Garros.
Oh, he closed the circle, huh?
You remember him from yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday was his death anniversary, and we didn't know. Like I said, he was a famous French fighter pilot, but you're like, well, why is he named after the tennis place? Did he do anything in tennis?
Named after him, yeah.
Maybe he was a famous tennis player who then, like Ted Williams, was called to the war or something like that. So this morning I decided, well, let's find out. What an opportune time. It's just off of yesterday's show. Roland Garros was an aviator. So I think back in the early 1900s, it's like, whoa, are you serious? There's not a lot of them.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Like, you're basically a witch.
Like, do you know how they
Look at him
say
up in the sky?
They say in the 60s, astronauts were as big as movie stars.
Yeah.
Like, if you were an astronaut, you're getting tail left and
No
right.
doubt.
Well, if you're an aviator in the early 1900s, you're extremely famous. And
I can see
Roland
that.
Garros was the guy in France. He set an altitude record in 1911.
50 feet.
Almost 13,000 feet. So
Wow.
he
Okay.
almost touched the moon.
With
Yeah.
altitude records.
And how do they know?
Oh,
Well, you can trust those instruments. They just eyeball it.
Yeah.
It's as far as a bird can fly.
That sycamore's 30 feet. So
You're doing like the piece it up, I piece it up.
And then because it was the day of, you would have to ride your bicycle across the nation to give anybody news. He was like, he became kind of a legend in France. Legend was that he was involved in the first air battle in world history, that he flew his plane into a Zeppelin, destroying it and killing its pilots. But then he was alive. He didn't do that. So that's everybody kind of thought he did. But then he showed up and he's at some party and he's like, oh, no, I guess that wasn't me. Because if you flew your plane into a Zeppelin,
You'd
you'd
have
be
to
dead
figure,
too.
yeah.
Yeah. He was called the world's first fighter ace because he did fight in World War I. But he shot down only 4 aircraft. The criteria for ace was set at 5 or more victories. So it's like every team can have an opening day starter. How many teams actually have an ace, though?
It's exactly like that.
Now, this is true. He actually was a POW in captivity for 3 years. He was captured by the Germans.
I like my aviators who don't get captured.
He did manage to escape, though, and then went on to fly more missions. So that probably helped build his, reputation.
Still nothing about tennis, but
in 1918, shot down and killed a month before the end of the war and 1 day before his birthday. That was yesterday, of course.
I want within a day. Aug 4, Aug 6th.
You want to die either before or after your birthday?
Just within a day or on the day. I like that. Just close it up.
It would make it a lot easier when printing out birthdays.
Sure,
if you died and were born on the same day.
Yeah.
Day. And yes, nothing. I can find nothing about tennis except that, of course, they named the
the
famous
clay court
site of the French Open, Roland Garros. So I guess he was just a legend.
Yeah.
Tennis was kind of huge back then.
Yeah.
And so, like, hey, who's our most famous? Oh, he just died. Oh, well, we're just building this tennis court today. Well, let's name it after him.
I guess it's not that weird, especially back then. Today, it would be weird if there was like a American Sniper Field. I think Chris Kyle Memorial Stadium would be odd.
All right, we should do this before we call Chappie.
Dan and Jake. Jake and Dan.
Remember this?
They get letters from their biggest fans.
We need to speed it up.
Huh?
We need to speed it up. I got
It
a
is
lot
a
of
little bit
news.
long.
I got a lot of news. I mean the show.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I had to give you just a couple of quickies. They're follow-ups. Colton from McKinney. This isn't a follow-up, but it's about our dream team. He says, Dear Uncle Hotmail, let me give a shout-out to Liz the lawyer.
Liz Griffin.
We went to high school together. It's pretty sweet to hear she helped free our boys. She also may or may not have been my first kiss in 7th or 8th grade. That's right, the great Liz Griffin. That's Colton. I don't know if Liz knows Colton. And then a lot of feedback on insurance.
Don't want to hear it.
Oh, okay.
It's just boring. We got like 10,000 emails and DMs and tweets. I'm like, just whatever. Who cares? Just have insurance.
People just wanted to help.
All right.
It is quite possibly the funniest joke ever conceived, and its origin is unknown. The fish joke crosses all borders, all races, all ages and ethnic groups, and is slowly uniting our country. In fact, the only person who appears to not get the joke is rapper Kanye West, who becomes furious when people use the joke on him.
Yo, that is messed up, yo. I am not gay, and I sure as hell ain't no fish, all right?
You really don't get it.
Hey, man, I'm a genius, all right? I'm the most talented musician in the world. If I was a homosexual or a fish, I would know.
You're a rapper.
Yes.
An entrepreneur.
Yes.
And you like fish.
Yes.
You're a gay fish.
No, I am not no gay fish.
Just gay?
I'm not gay and I'm not a fish. Man.
You are male.
Damn right I'm male.
A male that likes fish dicks.
Yeah, I like fish dicks.
You like to put fish dicks in your mouth.
Yeah.
You're a gay fish.
All right, that does it. I'm going to kick your ass. Ah!
You're listening to The Dumb Zone, The Dumb Zone, The Dumb Zone, The Dumb Zone.
That's right. You really need that? If
No
you,
puppet.
That
we
definitely
need
need
to
that.
rejoin saying who we are.
I like that guy's voice though. It sounds cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right.
We'll talk to you.
Ride to live to ride.
Okay. There's Chappie.
I don't know what that is. It was doing it yesterday too. It must have been a different phone.
Good news, that's all I want to hear.
All right, so I promised you boys this the other day.
We'll fix that phone thing.
I promised you guys this the other
Maybe.
day. And I failed
try.
you.
What?
Saturday night, we have the Powerball jackpot soaring to an estimated $1.4 billion. That would be the third largest jackpot in the game's history. Now, as a lotto rook, I thought they were going to give me 3 separate tickets, but they did not. We have 3 sets of numbers here. We have A, B, and C.
33% each?
No, I don't think that's how it should go. I think I get first dibs on numbers because I bought it, so I'm going to take B. The two of you can fight it out over A and C. If you'd like to look at the ticket, you can. You could do rock, paper, scissors. I know you're both.
I want C.
Okay, so Dan C. I'm B. Blake is A.
Because I love me some C.
Wait, I'm A?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like some C. You know what I mean?
I think that the
C
fair,
word.
the fair way to do this, cunt.
Whoa!
I think that
Beep that out.
The fair way to do this
Beep it out.
is
Jeez.
it's 50-25-25.
Guys, we're supporting Texas education and veterans.
That's why I bought it. The veteran thing more than anything else.
Right.
Education should happen at home. I think 50-25-25 is fair.
No, not at all.
Because otherwise, like, it's just we're all.
You wouldn't have bought
Oh,
the
you're
ticket.
saying if one of us win,
You wouldn't
they
have bought
get
the ticket
50?
without us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is
So if I win, I
there's
get
no point
50,
in divvying up numbers if
and I'm
it's just
going
going to be
25-25.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Agreed upon.
Sure.
This is entered into the court of record.
Boy, your wife is going to complain when you win. Why are you giving them anything? Just change your number. Like we're moving.
Buy a new number.
No. Because I want us to keep working, and the whole show will just be done on cocaine, which I think.
No, you're against that.
Everything becomes better at that point.
Or you don't want to do mushrooms.
That's right. Oh, I don't want to be impaired.
That's a way different scene there, bud.
What, mushrooms and cocaine?
Yeah. You're breaking down tape.
You're saying cocaine is performance enhancing?
Sure. It would be a great podcast. Shrooms, I'm not so sure. So B, A, C. B for Jake. A, it doesn't matter, the people. But I thought that was kind of weird, though. Like, I
C
guess
for the C word.
That's right. I didn't really know how to buy, and I did do the Powerball like multiplier for whatever that's worth.
Oh, you got to do that.
Yeah, the guy asked me. I'm like, I don't know. Is that good? Like, is that? He's like, it's $1 more.
Then that means $1 more equal.
You
That's
wanna
an investment.
You can take a picture of that if you want, Blake. Just so you guys know your numbers, because I'm going to take the ticket with me.
Don't tweet it out, or else people will buy it.
Yeah,
they'll buy the exact same.
No, don't
numbers,
tweet it
so
out. I
they'd
just
have
want you
to-
guys to have something Saturday night so that you know whenever we make it big. I didn't know that to ask for 3 separate tickets.
See, I
thought
was
that
hoping you'd
weird.
give me a separate ticket so I could re-gift it, and I'd give it to Carter tomorrow.
It's not a bad idea. It's basically the same as a college fund. You know?
Oh yeah, the prices these
But
days.
yet again, I bought this last night, and the person in front of me and behind me was doing the same thing. And when I walked in, they were the guy walking out that I like opened the door for, Powerball.
You're saying it's sweeping the land.
I think it is sweeping the land. All right.
So you don't have as good of a chance to win because all these people are playing.
That's true.
But you wouldn't win as much if people didn't play it.
That doesn't make sense. It makes more sense what I said.
They both are correct, guys. I forgot to edit this audio in the break, so I'm just going to play it. Whatever. It's Friday. This is something that occurred last night. A good listener sent this to us. It was in the 5 o'clock news window on WFAA. So you've got Chris, you've got Izzy, and you've got Pete. And they're doing the here's Texas OU this weekend. Here's a fun story about a guy who's been to 150 straight Texas OU games. And then they get into the Rangers weekend. So hopefully this is at least a decent starting point.
And then turn to WFAA to watch the kickoff at 11.
And the schedule has been released ahead of the Rangers' quest to win the American League Division Series. Game 1 is Saturday at noon. Game 2, Sunday at 3 p.m. Mark your calendars. Both are at Oriole Park in Baltimore. And Game 3 is back at Globe Life Field on Tuesday at 7 p.m. It's the best of 3, but of course they can go to 5 games if necessary.
All right, that's not.
So it's not the best of 3.
It's not the best of 3, and that's fine. A little. So here's where I want us to put on our investigate the news caps. You guys know what channel these games are going to be on, correct? MLB playoffs.
Are they still doing TBS?
They'll be on Fox primarily, and I believe some will be on Turner Networks, maybe. But these games are on Fox.
Okay.
And Fox Sports 1.
Okay.
So they're on Fox. They put the schedule up there. They did not put a channel there. But I think it's just a normal thing when there's a big local sports story.
Yeah.
For them to give the
yeah,
times of the game.
It's just released the schedule. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the schedule.
Now here comes Pete kind of being a prick. But I don't think Izzy and Chris catch on to it.
It's the 3, but of course they can go to 5 games if necessary.
What if I want to watch this on the television? Is it going to be on WFAA Channel 8, North Texas's news leader?
Yeah.
Honestly, I wonder if these games are going to be on Channel 8. Do you guys know?
They are.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh, those games the next round too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. And you know that with the.
Okay, so he's trying to be like, oh, why would we put that up there if they're not going to be on Channel 8? Right?
Well, the first one was.
Yeah, so these ones here, I feel like he's saying, when he's like, oh, that's good. I feel like
so he knew they're not.
I feel like he had to know.
Cynthia didn't know.
And I don't think Chris did either. And the way that
They're
he's
just
like,
like, I
oh,
don't know,
is it going to be on Channel 8, WFA, North Texas's news leader?
Huh.
Don't you sense like a tone in the way that he said that?
Yeah, yeah.
And then he expected them to be like, oh, no, they're not. And then he's like, oh, they are?
Yeah, we're not here promoting where the game is going to be broadcast. We're promoting that it's a local team in the playoffs. Like if the Stars get their playoff slate announced, they would certainly put that on the news.
And by the way, are you sure the first round was on Channel 8?
The first game was.
The first game. But I feel like.
I listened to the second game, but I know game 1 was on Channel 8.
Okay. Well, I don't think. This round, I don't believe is.
No, I think you're right.
And I think Pete knew that. And I think he wanted to try to bully them.
Wait, play it again?
Okay.
Now that we know what we're listening for.
Okay.
7 p.m. It's the best of 3, but of course they can go to 5 games if necessary.
If I want to watch this on the television, is it going to be on WFAA Channel 8, North Texas's news leader?
Yeah.
Honestly, I wonder if these games are going to be on Channel 8. Do you guys know?
They are.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh, those games the next round too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
And you know that with the
based on the way he said that, it makes me think that.
When he's like sarcastic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, really? That's good. That's exciting.
This is the first playoff series in the new ballpark, so the rain won't really make a difference anymore. You don't have to worry about a rain out.
If the roof is closed.
Well, you would think they'd close it. It's pouring rain.
So he's trying to move him on to
so little.
Hey, weather guy, do your weather.
Yeah.
Like here's something that you can comment on.
He's trying to get him out of the press. He's trying to break it.
Well, you would think they'd close it.
Exactly.
It's pouring rain.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah, well, you hope so. But no, that's good. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Because it's been such a struggle. I love the Rangers, but it's been such a struggle to watch them.
Mhm.
You know, unless you have, it's on Valley Sports or whatever it is. and
Regional
it's just
networks.
it's a pain after all that stuff.
Okay,
took
we're
place.
ripping
It's
on Valleys.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's the
So
angle he shifted
little
into.
chemistry. Do you think they hang out
No.
outside of work?
I love the Rangers, but it's been such a struggle to watch them.
Mhm.
You know, unless you have, it's on Valley Sports or whatever it is. and
Regional networks.
It's a pain after all that stuff took place. It's them watching them and the Mavs. It's like, you know, listen, I'm not very smart, so it's tough for me to figure this out.
Well, now all you got to know is 8.
Channel 8. I like it. I
There you
like
go.
it. I like it. Okay, good news.
I will not be on Channel.
Just a regular guy, that Pete Delkus. I'm not smart. I
very-
don't know. Where is
What
it?
is Your cable bundles and RSNs frighten and confuse me. Let's see here. We'll close with this.
Close? Wasn't that your first thing?
Second.
Yeah, I got you guys lottery tickets.
Oh, that's right. That is a news story.
Because
Wonder if that's a news story across the nation.
oh, there's no doubt.
Like every TV station is doing the same bit.
The C block is served up on a platter. You know, it's just easy for you. It's a tentpole topic. They probably get into. You know,
And the
what
fact
would
that
you do
there's
with the money.
the fact that there's so many numbers, because you've got to pick 5 numbers between
Plus
1
the-
and what, 60 something?
I don't even know.
Is it 69?
I honestly do not know.
Well, look at the. Oh, okay. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
But I think they keep expanding the number, and that's why every few months or so we get into this. This is a news story again.
Mhm.
That the you know, because it's multi states can do it, and so yeah, this is just going to be a continuing cycle of every 3 months we're going to have the biggest ever,
And
the $1 billion lottery.
News stations will continue, and frankly, podcasts will continue to have 5 minutes of their show done for them automatically. I will work one other quick one in here because we've been talking about it. A skunk in Arlington tested positive for the rabies.
Oh no,
You sound very concerned.
that's not good.
Animal Services caught a quote, ill-acting striped skunk. Now, you tell me if you saw a skunk in the wild, if you're like, boy, he's acting a little funny.
No, I think he's normal. That looks normal.
Yeah,
I have no idea. Like, what is he doing? Is he dancing?
The right person can tell.
He's not
Trying to chase down a
sexually
woman?
assaulting.
Yeah, so they cut its head off.
Send it.
Well,
They
you don't
didn't
need
even-
to
they
cut
didn't
its
even
head
send
off
it.
if you know.
They just did it for fun
Oh,
Okay.
because it's fun. The idea of cutting a skunk's head off.
They gave it to Anna Kay. She's like, I'll do it, please.
Just like get transferred to that division and never accept a promotion. No, I did want to play you guys a couple of clips of audio. You can hear a full breakdown.
It's not
of
from the
this.
skunk, is it?
No, it's not. Or the skunk's dismembered body. You can hear a full breakdown of this on one of this week's It's Just Banter podcast. We went through 2.5 hours of Trump audio, but Trump has had rallies, 2 of them in the last week. And I'm here to tell you, boys, he's back. He's all the way back. You know, it's kind of like hearing that Dak went 7 of 15 in camp. You know, like he's working on something, you know, or a comedian who has to go work some stuff out. A couple months ago, I was like, I don't know if he's got the juice anymore. He looks a little sluggish. His act seems a little tired. Well, I'm here to tell you that he's gonna win.
Isn't he going to be Speaker of the House?
I think he actually already endorsed Jim Jordan. So
What is that bit? Can you just name someone that's not?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah.
Like they could name you Speaker of the House, and then you'd be like, okay.
There might be some qualifications, but being a sitting member of Congress is not one of them.
That's very surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I didn't know that until a couple years ago. But he had some funny lines that I have to play for you because, you know, I cut the audio. This is one that we played before in our previous life, but it's very funny to me because I think it says a lot about his relationship with his kids. This was Monday, I want to say, of this week, and he was talking to a group of Iowans. So they're big on farmers, and the tax that goes with handing your farm off to your kids.
I ended the estate tax on farms, and you know what? If you love your children, you should be very thankful. You should never vote. If you don't love your children, don't leave it to them. Then, therefore, it's not going to matter that much. Then you say, who the hell cares whether I pay? I don't like the kids. But most of you, does everybody like your children? Raise your hand. Is there anybody that will not be leaving their farm to the children? Anybody in the room? Here's one person raising.
He's not really finding a whole.
I'd like to bring her up. Let's talk to you about that.
Yeah, I relate to you. Like he's not finding any takers there,
but
like his set.
Yeah, but
they're cheering everything except for the. Come on, let me hear all the people that don't like their kids.
Who hates your kids? Come on.
Oh, this one lady. All right,
Yeah,
get
come
up
on
here.
up
You're,
But it just to me is
you're
so.
my spirit animal.
It's so that's so stand-up comedy.
Oh yeah,
Like he just kind of picks the crowd for like,
Oh,
oh
no,
look at this
his-
couple over here,
Dude, he
What's
is
their bit?
a-
How long you guys been together? Like I feel like he's on the verge of how'd you guys meet?
he's a brilliant worker of the crowd. He can read the room. He can feel the room.
Yeah,
he can shift one way or another.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, this one was quite viral. Let me see what else I have here. Oh, I'll play you one more.
Do you have Roomba?
No, that you're talking about when he's like doing Joe Biden on the stage?
Yeah.
The actual Roomba joke is from Shane Gillis, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. He kind of does that at the end of this one, I want to say.
Joe Biden on the stage, though. I saw that maybe this last week.
Someone put Gillis, right before Trump
But-
said it.
MAGA's tough. You know, when Biden says, we will stop MAGA. If I said to him, what does MAGA stand for? I don't know. I just know it's violent.
It's not a bad Biden, right? I don't think I have that one clipped off. Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm on this stage, this stupid stage.
Yeah, I've never seen this stupid stage before.
Yeah, but then it's more visual, right? He's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
walking back and forth.
Yeah.
And
He's just saying, I have stairs here, and I have stairs there.
And this is
Never seen this
the
stupid
last one I
stage.
will play.
See, this is why he's brilliant. He's not going after policies. He's not going after whatever, laws that he's passed, or he's just going after.
Just talking shit.
He can't get off a stage.
Yeah.
See this guy on a stage?
Now on this one,
But he can't go after him for the bike thing because Trump probably can't ride a bike either.
Actually, I remember that being pretty funny because when Biden fell off the bike,
Mhm.
Trump was like, "You're never going to see me on a bike. I'm 80." It's like, what sort of idiot is getting on a bike?
Has Trump ever ridden a bike?
That is a really good question. I mean, he grew up in I don't know if it was in Manhattan.
Have you
but-
ever seen a photograph of Trump not in a suit
Oh yeah, I can show you some funny ones. Although
that aren't photoshopped?
Oh yeah,
Oh, I guess golfing for sure.
golfing, but there's other ones too. I think I've seen one of him.
Because if I'm picturing him on a bike in a suit.
Look how weird this is. This is a photo of Trump wearing like a like a checkered like Western
Flannel,
shirt.
yeah. And jeans.
Yeah, and it's shocking.
What is that? The 80s, 90s?
Yeah, I think so. That's what it looks like. And there's a couple of other ones with him in jeans and like a white polo, but in the last 10 years, definitely not. So this is the one that went pretty viral. And what he's talking about here is he spent a lot of the time on electric cars and how they're for fairies. Because he's like, you go 20 miles and you got to get a charge, but now there's no charge. Darling, I want to go for a drive, but there's no charge.
No charge.
And
the cloud is in front of the
eventually he got to the point of because he's talking about ethanol too, because ethanol is a big deal to Iowa, the corn fuel. And he starts talking about boats that are going to be forced to have electric powered engines. And he's like, the battery's as big as the boat, and it's like all of his exaggerations about it. The boat can't only go 2 miles an hour and it's weighed down by this battery. And he came up with what I described as just a banger of a hypothetical for the 7th grade football practice sidelines.
I asked at the boater, I said, so let me ask you, let's say your boat goes down and I'm sitting on top of this big, powerful battery and the boat's going down. Do I get electrocuted? And he said, you know what? Honestly, nobody's ever asked me that question. But if I'm sitting down and that boat's going down and I'm on top of a battery and the water starts flooding in, I'm getting concerned. But then I look 10 yards to my left and there's a shark over there. So I have a choice of electrocution or shark. You know what I'm going to take? Electrocution. I will take electrocution every single time. Do we agree? Yeah, I will take electrocution. But these people are crazy.
Yeah. But your buddy,
Hey,
Trevor pipes in. He's like, "You're crazy, bro."
No.
Shark.
You could
get away
punch a
from the
shark,
shark.
dude. You could punch it.
It's exactly the sort of it's a lunchroom hype. You're like, dudes, I was thinking about this last night.
So does he think
The crowd's like, yeah, I guess.
Why
I
did-
don't want to get eaten by a shark.
Why did he need crowd support? Who's
Does-
with me?
does he think like on a normal boat that there's nothing on a normal boat that is electrical, that everything is
Right,
powered?
yeah.
Like,
and every time there's a boating accident, everyone fried to a
like they
crisp.
have lights on boats,
just immediately fried.
right?
That's right. Of course they do.
What are those powered by?
Gas.
Like, what is there a
But he's sitting on a battery that's the size of the boat. So that,
okay.
that ups things a little bit.
No one's ever asked me. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
That's-
And just right 10 feet away, there's a shark.
You'll
'Cause
go
that's
where
usually how
those
that works too.
others won't go.
All right, there's your news.
All right.
The Dumb Zone.
Let's go Powerball.
News. Like and subscribe.
That was a good news.
All right, everybody wave. Let's say goodbye. Happy YouTube.
Up here.
Adios, mofo.